Yeah, I'm here with Peter Kavanagh, the main man in this central pay and also the fight against job cuts. Peter, can you just tell me a bit about what we're doing here today?
We've come down here today, Kenny, to try and raise the consciousness both of our members but also of London and Londoners. We've linked up with community groups, organisations that represent people who overwhelmingly use the bus service. So we've had the National Pensioners Convention here today, indeed the General Secretary of that organisation, speaking up very much in support of our campaign to defend the buses, our campaign for a quality service where the workers are treated with respect and paid decent wages. And we've also had the campaign for Better Transport, a national organisation that obviously by the name suggests it's campaigning for better public transport, and they too are supporting our campaign. The campaign is saying very simply to Boris Johnson but also to Londoners that the service that our 28,000 members provide must be valued, it must be protected. In fact, it must be expanded because this city is set to grow by 900,000 more people over the next 20 years. That's the equivalent of the population of a city the size of Leeds. And the idea they're going to cut spending on buses, they're going to cut the services, is absolute madness. The economy is in freefall. We need a recovery. London's at the centre of that recovery, and we need an absolutely first-class transport system to enable the workforce to get around to make sure that economic recovery begins.
Well, keep up the great work and thanks for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Kenny, always a pleasure.
Alright.
Right, moving on from one man who has a great deal of respect from us for what he's going to do for our industries over the coming years when we elect him, to a man who we're going to elect this year to the position of leader of our great union, the first ever General Secretary of Unite. He needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Len McCluskey, the best Scouser I
know. Well, thanks, Steve, and good morning, everyone. Delighted and privileged to be here to lend my support to the campaign, and fantastic to see the Billingsgate boys here. I had the privilege of speaking to them just a few weeks back, and of course they're involved, as Ken has said, in their own fighting against the corporate giants and the greed of people who dismiss at a whim not only the heritage of our city but also the work and the lifetime input of workers. We're not going to allow that to happen in Billingsgate, and we're not going to allow it to happen on London buses, because the campaign is about fairness, respect, dignity, being valued. We're talking about professional bus drivers who keep the greatest capital city in the world ticking along. Millions of people every single day transported by our members. And who are these people who come along and want to try and attack our terms and conditions? Who are these chinless wonders who've never done a day's work in their life? These harbingers of greed who want to tell us, as Ken said, that it's your fault that we have a crisis, that you're the people that have to pay for what the bankers, the mess that they got us in. Our campaign is going to be centred around building on the fairness and justice of what we believe in. And we will embrace the campaign to involve other workers. To involve other workers like the Billingsgate workers, but other workers throughout our city, as we take the campaign message to our members in Unite and the rest of our movements. We're here to say to Boris Johnson that we're not kidded by his Weasley words. 1 minute he's talking about the greatest bus drivers in the world, and the next minute he wants to slash your pay and conditions. Well, because they're hoping that ordinary people, workers, ordinary members of the public will start to feel that there's nothing we can do about it. Our bus workers have the right to be valued in this city.
Back on them, Bob died on his £11 million a year salary, and we're being told by Osborne and Cameron and Boris that we've got to bear this pain. Well, I don't see the pain being shared there, nor will it work. We only need to look across the water to Ireland. Ireland made savage cuts in public spending over a year ago, result their debt's going up, because people have been thrown out of work, they're not paying tax, they're not creating wealth, and they're on benefits. And this policy will fail. But we don't want to be able to say we told you so once our bus service has collapsed. And that's clearly where this administration is going to be looking. Boris is saying we must protect Crossrail. I agree. We must protect the upgrades of the tube. I agree. But that means that the cuts will be concentrated on the buses. And the buses, which have gone from carrying 4 million to 6 million people in just 10 years, they're filling the gap before Crossrail's built, before the tubes are upgraded. If you increase the fares or you cut the service, you'll be in a position where people run back. What fares will be charged? It's time to say the Mayor's office should also set the wage for bus drivers across London, so that the representatives of the bus workers will negotiate with the Mayor's office, and the deal that was done would apply across the whole field, and not be in a position where the only factor in play in these contracts is which bus company can screw the wages of the drivers down the most maximum.
And it's important you realise the scope of the nothingness that I'm going to do. On the one hand, I could do something, and on the other hand, I could do nothing. But I'm going further than that hand, and I'm doing absolutely nothing. David Cameron is a very fine human being. A fine human being. He's a fine leader, and an ex-Etonian. He's an absolutely wonderful man. And in answer to your question, yes. I was actually his fag for quite some time. Anything else?
Yeah, Boris. Why did you increase the fares by 13% and then take our members' wages down?
Because it made us more money. There's no simple answer to that. Cost versus effect. This is why you're just a bus driver. You just can't be like this and get there.
I'm a supervisor. I've done better.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, Boris, you see the plans when you're losing next election?
Get on your bike.
Or get yourself in the ring.
I have absolutely no intentions of losing the next election. None whatsoever.
You will.
And I was watching from the windows earlier, and I saw Mr. Livingston deliver his speech, and I think that I'm a far better orator. I think I'm a far stronger personality, and I think anybody else here who wouldn't vote for me in place of that oik has quite frankly lost their minds.
You don't want Cameron's job then?
David Cameron, as I've already said, is an absolutely wonderful man. I would never take his job. I may fag for him again, but I would never take his job.
Boris, I think it's time you got on your bike.
Yeah.
I make you right. I make you right.
Boris, you need to lose some weight.
Tell me about it. Actually, I must say to you that I've been listening to the arguments that have been put forward to me. And I think you're right. I think bus drivers' wages should rise. I think the market should stay open.
Yes!
And in actual fact, I intend to lead your march around City Hall.
Yay!
If somebody would help me down this step. Thank you.